primary aim of DMARC is to protect our reputation as seen by the receivers of our emails. It ensures that emails that appear to come from us are authentic and not from the bad guys impersonating our email domain. This authenticity enhances trust and protects and improves our brand or corporate reputation. For the next 9 minutes, I'm going to describe how DMARC works within the email flow. Unlike a secure email gateway, DMARC isn't so often clearly understood. While there is a fair amount of underlying technical detail, this short video is designed to give a high-level introduction as to how it works. We will talk about DMARC in light of the Proofpoint Email Fraud Defense 360 solution, which allows organizations to achieve DMARC compliance with tools, services, and information in order to successfully complete such a project. Our aim is to achieve P equals reject in DMARC terminology. Let's start by describing how the email flow occurs. If we're using Exchange on-prem or Exchange online within Office 365, the outbound email goes to a receiver. This could be a consumer or another business organization and will often go through their email gateway solution. That gateway performs a range of checks on the email content, looking for viruses, spam, malware, and malicious URLs and attachments. How well it does this depends on which gateway solution is used by them. When we as a sender implement a DMARC solution, we enable this through publishing a DMARC entry in our DNS record. It is not only DMARC but also SPF and DKIM that must have aligned DNS entries for this to work correctly. Many organizations have implemented only SPF or DKIM, but if not, these will be necessary for a full DMARC deployment in addition to a specific DMARC entry. The receiving email gateway should have DMARC checks enabled. This is most often the case, but it's important to note that this can be turned off. If it is, there is nothing that we can do as the sender to override this. Assuming the DMARC check is enabled by the receiver, when an email is received, the gateway will check the sending email domain's DNS record looking for SPF, DKIM, and DMARC entries. It will use these to verify three things. In the case of SPF, that the email server IP address within the email matches the one published in the DNS record. In the case of DKIM, that the crypto key sent with the email matches the key in the DNS entry. And for DMARC, it adds three further key functions. Firstly, how to process DMARC authentication checks, either report only, which is a policy of none, or quarantine or reject. Getting to reject is our ultimate goal. Secondly, it specifies an email address as to where authentication reports are to be sent. These are known as RUA, aggregate reports, and RUF, forensic reports. Thirdly, it ensures that the email domain as seen by the user matches the email domain in two separate places within the hidden technical data of the email. This is called alignment. Neither SPF nor DKIM do this, and why this unique feature of DMARC is so valuable in defeating email fraud. An inbound email will therefore have these three checks performed upon them each time they are received. What is really important is that without DMARC, SPF and DKIM aren't sufficiently functional to prevent fraudulent emails being sent in our name. The aggregate reports allow us to know who has received emails under our sending domain, aggregated to one a day. The forensic reports are quite detailed. Whilst they don't contain any personally identifiable information, they do include email header data and all URLs from the email body for every email that fails authentication. We find that not every receiver will actually send RUF reports back to the sender due to the volume of email traffic. One problem with the reports is that they are in a complex XML format that isn't so easy to digest. This is where Proofpoint's EFD 360 solution assists greatly. It provides a dashboard that allows administrators to visualize the company names and information from the RUA and RUF reports in an easy-to-consume format. We will of course see our own Exchange or Exchange Online servers listed in this dashboard, and ensuring these systems have SPF, DKIM, and DMARC set correctly and aligned is relatively straightforward. However, often our own email server isn't the only source of emails sent under our name. Many, if not most, organizations use third-party companies with applications that send emails on our behalf. These could be marketing or mailing applications for newsletters and customer communications. They could be financial and invoicing systems, such as used in B2B interactions, or external applications that send emails to our internal users, such as HR, payroll, service desk, or similar. Typically, more and more applications are being provided by software as a service vendors, and they and we would want to send under our email domain to ensure that they are perceived as being authentic. Especially in larger organizations, finding out about all the third-party senders can be very challenging. Different parts of the organization contract with different third-party vendors, and the IT department will typically not know about them all. This is where the RUA and RUF reports are designed to help. Theoretically, they advise us as to who is sending under our email domain. But there is another problem. Since the design specification for RUF is to send one email for every email that fails authentication, many receiving email gateways don't send RUF reports back to the sender, as mentioned before. But even more alarming, some gateways do not send RUA aggregate reports either. So the intelligence available to ensure we haven't missed finding out about any senders is debilitated by unreliable RUA and RUF reporting. And that leads to one of the very strong features of Proofpoint's EFD 360 solution. Proofpoint has access to 7 other data sources which interrogate metadata from billions of emails daily. This collective source of sender intelligence ensures that no email senders are missed when undertaking a DMARC project. Once identified, Proofpoint's technical implementation team will work with you to reach out to every third-party sender and provide the necessary guidance on configuring the required SPF, DKIM and DMARC settings within your DNS and manage the third-party senders accordingly. As mentioned before, the domain and the sender's visible email address must match the domain within the hidden technical data of the email in 2 places, the SPF and DKIM domain references. In DMARC terminology, this is called alignment. Getting to this point can take some months. We need to allow for senders that may only send periodically to appear on the sender intelligence landscape, especially when new ones are brought on regularly. Once we've ensured that we have identified and corrected any anomalies with SPF and DKIM for all senders, we can then take the DMARC entry to a policy of reject. As mentioned earlier, this is our goal. If we can break down subsets of our email senders, we can get some quick wins and actually commence this sooner by using sender subdomains. Once at reject, from this point forward, it means that the bad guys attempting to impersonate our domains will have their emails blocked by receivers who have enabled DMARC on their gateway. If your organization emails to consumers, you'll be pleased to know that Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, AOL, and a number of others have DMARC checks enabled automatically, thereby blocking malicious emails. What is especially important, and sometimes overlooked, is that our own internal users are protected when our software as a service applications have DMARC enabled. This will prevent any malicious emails from these apps impersonating our own domain. So that's a basic explanation of how DMARC works within the mail flow, but importantly how Proofpoint can play a key role in helping organizations to achieve DMARC compliance. We know that most do-it-yourself DMARC projects fail through not having the necessary sender intelligence. And this is how Proofpoint adds great value to attain the much sought after reject policy. If you've got any questions about anything covered here, then please reach out to us on the email shown on the slide.